Good morning, everybody. We are getting ready to begin our lunchtime live. And as you can see today, we'll be discussing all things green garnet. So just hang tight for about 2 more minutes and we will be joining you shortly. Good morning, friends. Good morning, gem lovers.
Hi, everybody.
Morning, gem lovers and industry partners. I am David with Artinian Gems.
And I'm Stephanie.
Today we're going to talk about all things green garnet. You can see on the turntable we've got some beautiful green garnets, and you can see on the turntable we got some beautiful green garnets. We're going to be looking at some rough. We're going to be talking about the different types of green garnets that they're there. So,
where they come from, the history, what makes them different.
Yeah, so let us know where if you're watching us on any of our live streams, just you can go to Facebook Live. That's probably the easiest place to interact. And then what you can do is just type in your questions, your comments. Yeah. Maybe you're a gem hunter too. Yeah. Maybe you've got a story to tell. And so just put it in the chat and we'll talk all things gem hunting. So we're Artinian Gems. We're based in San Diego and we have a branch of our company in Eastern Thailand. Mm-hmm. And so what we do is we go all over the world. We find the most beautiful rough we can, and we take it to our team. We have a world-class team of gemstone artists that turn everything into a work of art. Yeah. This is not your average cutting. These are gemstone artists who their entire lives have been dedicated to the beauty and fastening of gemstones.
Yes, all of our gems have sparkle. They have life. They may not be the standard calibrated sizes. Mm-hmm. Our gems are, like you said, they're artists. So they cut what works best for the stone, and it really brings out the life in the gem.
And Stephanie, you come from a jewelry background. You grew up in a jewelry store. You know the retail. Now you know the wholesale side because we're wholesalers of gems. And when you see, a really
definitely. These are not your commercial grade. And actually, you hardly ever see like Dementoids in the store or savorites. Very rare.
No.
So these are kind of a sneak peek into some beautiful rare garnets.
Yeah. I mean, why do we buy gems anyway?
Right.
I mean, we buy gems for so many reasons, but
for special occasions.
Special occasions, you feel
for
loved, memories, you create a memory, you
Yes.
create a legacy. And why not
Right.
create a legacy with something that has intrinsic value? And a rare gemstone really has intrinsic value. It's something that
Absolutely.
appreciates over time.
Right.
We get collectors, serious collectors, who buy the gems and they'll put them in a piece of jewelry and they'll enjoy them. They pass them to the next generation. And that gem may have doubled, tripled, it may have gone up 10 or 20 times.
Right.
Its
Because you have to
original
think,
value.
as time goes on, these gems, especially the rare gems like savorite,
Yeah.
they become more and more scarce. So their value just increases tremendously.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we talk about
what we've got on
yeah,
there.
we've got on the table. Let's talk a little bit about the green garnets. And Stephanie, why don't you just kind of fill us in with a little background
Sure.
on the green garnet?
So garnets, a lot of people find are really confusing and complicated. The only reason is because there's so many varieties. Garnets are all part of the same group. They all have the same basic crystal structure, which is a cubic crystal structure. And that's how they're all related to each other.
And they're like diamonds too. I mean, the same
right cubic structure,
same
exactly.
Cubic and same as the other gems, spinels.
Yes, exactly. And so they break the garnets up into two main categories, which are the aluminum garnets, which are your pyrope, your almandite, rhodolite, spessartite. And then you have your calcium garnets, which are these grossularite, which are the greens, and the androdite, which are the mint green, and the dementoid. And hessonite.
Yeah, hessonite. The dementoid is your intense green, your darker green. Now there is another androdite garnet too. And that androdite garnet is, I'm going to show it to you right now on the turntable. This is actually related to the dementoid.
Right. So that's like a brother of the dementoid, a very close.
Why don't I put it there?
Look, oh, you can see the fire when you just put it down there. Very cool.
It's got a little green in it. Anyway, I interrupted you, so carry on.
No problem. So savorite, the main element that causes the vibrant green. So that savorite that you see in the center there, that beautiful, bright, vibrant green, the trace element is vanadium that gives it that coloring. So for all you gem lovers and those that love, look at that. That's gorgeous.
I'm going to show you a video in a minute, but this beautiful savorite is 3.12 carats. And I bought this one right at the mining site. I'm going to show you a little video of the mining site here in a minute. But I bought this one right at the mining site in Tanzania as a rough piece. Now, what did you say about the percentages you were telling me earlier?
Yes. So actually, 85% of all rough savorite that are found actually only produce about 1 carat size or less gems. And then 1% of the remainder, so you have 15% remainder, 1% of that produces sizes 3 carats and up. And then less than 0.1%, so that gives you an idea of how rare these gems are, will produce over 10 carat size.
Oh, that's amazing.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Well, let me tell you about that 3 carat one real quick. That 3 carat pear-shaped savorite is 3.12 carats, and it retails for only $9,950.
Wow.
Yeah, that is quite a bit less than what it would normally go for a 3 carat size, but I bought it at the mine site, and that's our thing. We go to the rare, the remote areas of the world. We buy rough from miners. We cut them ourselves, and we just show them in special occasions. Now, if you see gems here that are calling your name, you can let us know. And if you're a member of the public and you're a lover of gems, we can connect you with one of our preferred partners in your area, and we can send the gem to them, and then you can look at it there and pick it up. Or if you are in the industry, we can help you when we can actually help you present and show gems to your clients right through our studio. We have a live studio. Anytime you want to look at gems, you reach out to us.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, we'll work with you. We'll help you. We'll make it simple, because I know that a lot of retail stores right now are, there's often it's hard to find good help.
Right.
And so we can be the hand that extends that help to you. That's one of our missions, is to be not only the hand of help to the mining areas, to the gem cutters, but we're the hand of help to those in our industry. So if you have a comment, if you have a question, just put it in the chat there. We will try to answer your questions, and we'll try to help you in whatever way we can. So you were talking about first, where does savorite come from?
So most savorites come from East Africa. Right. So Tanzania is a very popular spot, Madagascar, Namibia, so that area. And then we also have demantoids. Show them the demantoids.
Let's look at the other type. Let's look at the other type of garnet that we've got here, dementoid. And what is special about dementoid?
Dementoid is an andradite garnet, a different type of garnet. Look at that. That is a piece of rough right there. Isn't that cool?
This came from the northwest corner of Madagascar. I went to the mining area, and the mines are actually at, below the sea level. And so they can only do the mining at low tide. It's very fascinating.
That's also things that you have to consider is when they're mining these gemstones, often they come from places that are of unrest, that are, the climate can be difficult. Like I know some of these come from Iran, and then they have difficult climate as well. And like you said, in Madagascar, they can only go certain times during the day. Yeah. So it's very interesting.
Yeah. Tell us where dementoid was originally found.
So very interesting. So for those of you who have been watching every week, this is actually related to the first gemstone that we discussed, which was alexandrite. Wow. Dementoid was actually first mined in the Ural Mountains in the same area that alexandrite is mined. And so they were discovered around the same time in the 1800s. In 1850, the dementoid was discovered. In about the 1830s, the alexandrites were discovered. So it's very interesting. So emerald, alexandrite, and dementoid are always found in the same kind of areas with the same elements.
Yes, it was kind of the same geological situation.
Exactly.
And then the dementoid, is very, very rare. And so they found it during that time in Russia, and they were mostly mined out, very little production. And it wasn't until the 1990s was another deposit discovered in Namibia. And then after that, they discovered some in Madagascar. So dementoid is a very rare gem. It's actually the most valuable of all garnets.
And a couple of reasons, right? One is the fire.
Yes.
Right.
So let's look at the turntable again.
Let's look at the turntable and show you the fire. What we're talking about is not just the sparkle, it reflecting the light back at you, but the dispersion. So basically breaking up the light, and you get those spectral colors flashing back at you. Look at that. It's gorgeous.
I mean, this gem looks probably more than any gem like a green diamond.
Yes, very, very true.
It has visible dispersion. There are a few gems, only a very few gems that show visible dispersion, which means kind of like the rainbow colors being released.
Right, exactly.
Diamond is our most famous.
Right.
And then zircon is another. I'm not talking about cubic zirconia. I'm talking about the natural rare zircon. And then dementoid is another one. Now there is one more gem, and we'll be featuring that soon in our Lunchtime Live, and that's called sphene.
Oh, yes.
We'll be talking about that one.
For you gem lovers, stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Sphene is very interesting as well.
Now, we were mentioning briefly about dementoid being an andradite. The other color of andradite that we have here is this one here.
Look at that. It looks like a cognac color.
It looks like a brown diamond. It has visible dispersion.
Very pretty.
So it's the brown color. It's not green, so it can't be
reddish
called a
brown
dementoid.
Right.
But this one, to me, is a really special gem.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
then
the coloring elements of Dementoid, the trace elements that give it its color, the green is actually chromium. The more
sense.
chromium it has, the more green it has. And then if it has less chromium and more iron, that is when you're going to get the more yellow color coming through. So often it's a combination of the two, the iron and the chromium, to get that kind of olivey green,
Right.
lemony lime green, very pretty. And then, of course, the dispersion is what really sets it apart.
Now, Stephanie, we've got one more type of garnet here, and it's related to savorite. Tell us about this one.
Right. So that is a grossular garnet. This one we call the mint garnet. It's very, very pretty. It is the same stone as the savorite. The only difference is that the coloring is not as intense. It's more of a pastel color. Beautiful pastel. And it just sparkles beautifully, as you can see. That's our cutting team right there.
Yeah, I bought the rough from a Tanzanian miner, and it took me like days to negotiate just buying the rough from me. He didn't want to let it go.
Right.
And he eventually sold me 3 pieces. There was that piece. Then there's a spectacular round.
Oh my gosh.
Look at the cutting
beautiful.
On that. You know, most gem cutters will cut, 20 gems in a day, 15, 20.
And that's another mint garnet?
Yeah, it's another mint. But our team maybe does
beautiful.
1 or 2. And that's because of the rare, the amount of detail that is going into the faceting.
Right, Michelle. There are so many colors coming from those stones. The Dementoid, that's what it's known for, is that dispersion. So it's going to give you all the spectral colors flashing back to your eye. So that's one of the really unique and very cool features about Dementoid. Now, we did have somebody last week asking about inclusions. Remember, they had a question about, do inclusions add value to a stone?
Right.
In this case, they can.
They can, yes.
So the Dementoid has a very rare and unusual inclusion that can appear in some of the Dementoids, not all.
The Russian ones only.
Right, the Russian
ones.
They have what's called a horsetail inclusion. So it literally looks like somebody's grabbing the tail of a horse and the hairs are all spreading over your hand. That's what it looks like. And it's very rare, but it is a feature unique to Dementoid, and it adds value to the Dementoid. So if they see that in the rough, they purposely keep it in the stone and try to orient the cutting of the stone to feature that horsetail inclusion.
Now, our Dementoids here today are from Madagascar and Namibia, and so they don't have that horsetail. But in my opinion, sometimes the ones that don't have the horsetail often will sparkle a little more. But
because they don't have that inclusion in them.
They don't have it inside. So, what I'd like to do is, how about let's just go and look at where
these gems are mined.
Let's look at the savorite. A couple of years ago, I went to the savorite mine, and let's take a look. Let's take a look at. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. Here we are. We travel out in the backwaters of Tanzania. I'm with some Maasai tribesmen here. And this is at the mining site. It's very primitive. They have their little huts and thing, and
a whole bunch of watermelon.
They got the watermelons. I guess it's watermelon harvest season right there.
Very cool.
And this is the roads that we drive on. They're actually roads shared with animals and people, and they're dirt trails. And right there in the distance is the savorite mine.
So it's very remote.
Very remote. There it is, the savorite mine. I mean, it looks like Arizona or something like that as far as cactuses and brambles and so on. Now, this is actually at the top of the mine. You can see right here, they dig straight down. It's a pit that goes straight down. You can see that barrel. That barrel is on a lever and pulley system. They let the barrel go down. They bring up the rocks. You
Looks
can see,
like concrete.
Yeah, you see the rocks on the left there. It's all hand work that they dig. And so, that's basic. And they put a grate over it at night so the thieves can't go in there and steal the savorite. And that's the ladder. The one on the right's for the barrel, and one on the left's for the people. It goes straight down. In this case, I went straight down that ladder. You see that ladder? Oh my gosh. It's a vertical ladder. You're hanging on to that thing, and it goes down hundreds of feet.
Oh, wow. That's
And
crazy.
they got light and they pumped oxygen. Now, this is interesting. Now, this is all graphite.
Oh.
And the rock around is graphite, and they'll find these swirls of quartz. And inside the quartz is where they'll find the pockets of savorite.
Well, that makes total sense because one of the inclusions that you can find in the larger savorites is graphite.
Exactly.
So there you go.
Yeah, here we go. Here's one of the guys down there. He was very excited to show me. He's got his headlamp with his flashlight on. He was actually the character. We're down about 300 feet. You can see at the bottom was this water. It was kind of green water. So I was wondering, like, okay, is this a uranium mine or something?
Oh,
just
my
joking.
gosh.
Just kidding. It wasn't. This is actually like at the bottom. They have to, get that water out of there, pump that water out in order to go deeper. And here we are back at the top of the mine. And this is where I bought that beautiful pear-shaped, the gem that turned into the beautiful pear-shaped rough.
That's savorite?
Yeah, and here I am with the guys. Here's the guy that was down with me. He's showing me a rock and like, hey, look at this one. So anyway, there's some of the guys that.
Was it hot there? You look like it was pretty hot.
The artisanal miners down there.
Very cool.
Yeah, they're. It was a lot of fun. So there's a sneak peek into a little bit of the mining. Do we have any comments or any more questions from anybody?
Yes, we have a comment from Michelle. She asked, garnets are pretty hard, aren't they? Is it okay to wear in a ring? Very good question. So garnets in general are about a 7.5 on the Mohs scale, which is kind of pretty average for gemstones.
Yeah, a lot of gems fall
into that category. So I would say it's good to wear in a ring. You do have to be aware that you're wearing it. I wouldn't wear it all day, every day when you're like, especially if you do a lot of hand work, work with your hands and that. They can break like anything. Even a diamond can break. Surprise.
Yeah, there you go.
So I would just be cautious, but great for earrings and necklaces, and a ring. Okay, no problem, as long as you're not rough.
Exactly.
And then Dementoid, from my understanding, is not as hard as maybe savorite. So that's one thing to consider. More of an evening style ring.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to share with you just an interesting fact. I'm going to show you a gemstone that is related to savorite. This is going to surprise many of you.
Yes.
It is actually found in the same mining area as the savorite. It's found in the same structure. In fact, the most famous world mines for this gemstone are only a few miles away from the Dementoid mine. The savorite mine. Can anybody guess what this gemstone is?
Yes. Who has a guess as to where this gemstone is? And actually, fun fact, this gemstone was discovered at the same time as the savorite.
Really close to the same time. Exactly.
Yes. So isn't that interesting? Any guesses as to what this purplish bluish stone is?
It's actually this almost an identical crystal structure as the savorite. The only difference is it has an extra water molecule. That is really strange.
Interesting.
I find it shocking and strange.
Yeah, it's just so interesting. Gems are just so much fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we have any guesses? Oh, thank you, Michelle, for joining us from Caramel Mountain. Very cool. Yes. Lillian is joining us too, and Nellie. Very cool. Okay, so drum roll.
Drum roll. The answer to that is tanzanite.
Yes, who knew that?
Who would have known that tanzanite and savorite garnets, tanzanite and the savorite are very close relatives.
Aren't they beautiful?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's your fun fact for the day.
Yes.
So anyway, I think we've covered the basics. If you would like to know more about garnets, if you'd like to know more about any of the gems, if you would like to look at gems, reach out to us. You can reach out to us through our website. You can reach out to us by phone, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you would, please. That way you'll be the first to know when we have new gem hunting videos that come out. And when we have new
Right.
content that's coming out.
And new stones.
And new gemstones.
Hey,
Yes, we
who
post.
wants to see that? I
Yeah,
do.
we often post when we have new gemstones coming out. In fact, we just received a parcel of gray spinel from Sri Lanka. Some beautiful gems. If you want to see some of those.
Fun.
Or sapphires or rubies, emeralds.
Yeah.
Zircon is one of our favorites. I mean, the zircon from Cambodia is the richest color, and that's virtually gone now. And then all of the other gems, all the way down to fun quartzes with rutiles and pyrites in them and so on.
Or ametrines.
The
cutting on the ametrines is just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to see a gemstone on the hand? Maybe we should put one on the hand so they can see the size.
Hey, why not? Let's say we got a hand model here, so let's look at it. Let's look at a gemstone on the hand. So why don't we do this beautiful 3-carat savorite?
All right, we're ready.
Here's the hand. Let's look at it. You can see, ooh, look at that.
Oh my gosh. So often savorite can be used as an alternate to emerald.
It sure can.
Because that color green is just so intense and beautiful. And the nice thing about savorite is that you don't get the same amount of inclusions as you would with an emerald.
Right. And savorite is exponentially more rare than emerald.
Yes. So it is a good alternative. So if you're looking for green stone, if you love green, this is a great option for you.
Oh, I'm going to show you this here.
Yes.
Here's actually a matched pair. This is a Dementoid Garnet matched pair.
Isn't that pretty?
One of the things about gemstones is people think, well, to get a matched pair for a set of earrings, don't you just like take one crystal and cut it in half?
Nope, it's not diamond.
No way. You basically, what you're doing is you're finding 2 crystals that are similar in color, and you have to make sure the colors match, and that is next to impossible. So to find a matched pair of beautiful gems that you can put into, a matched pair is really hard. This matched pair is 1.56 carats, and it retails for only $2,800. And normally that should be about $4,000 now, but
those would be gorgeous in the ear.
Oh, they would,
because they have such fire, just like the diamonds, and then you have that beautiful soft green color. I think that's a great option. And also the other thing you have to consider is with Dementoid, that you have that dispersion, but also doesn't it matter which way they orient the stone in order to cut it?
It would be, you definitely have to be careful about the orientation of the gemstone. The color on a Dementoid is going to be consistent though, because unlike a tanzanite or another gem, it's simply refractive.
Right. It's not pleochroic.
Yeah, which means you're going to get fairly consistent color, but you just got to make sure you've got the color.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So anyway, there you have it. There's our introduction to green garnets. If you would like our assistance, if you would like information, if you'd like to use us as an extension of your team, or if you're a gem lover, just reach out to us and we can connect you with one of our partners in your area.
Yeah, so you can see some gems yourself.
We can fire up this turntable specially for you.
Right.
And this is a window.
Get your own.
This is a window to the vault where we have thousands of gems that we've curated over more than one generation. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for joining. And we hope to see you again next Thursday. Same time, same place.
Same place. And we will be revealing shortly the gem that we're going to talk about this week. Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.